Hey, I'm Melissa. I am a mom of 3, almost 4. I'll be delivering this one in just a couple of months. And today I'm going to be discussing a few topics. So, one, why I think a written birth plan is a good idea. 2, I'm going to be going through my baby number 3 birth plan and what I am changing for baby number 4. And then I'm also going to be sharing with you my postpartum essentials. So I'll have timestamps down below in case you only want to watch some of those. And I'll put links for anything I can down in the description box. If you're not subscribed, I would appreciate you subscribing. Like this video, comment hi down below. It helps my channel out tremendously. So let's go ahead. I have made a birth plan, a written birth plan for all 4 of my children. And there are a few reasons why I think that it is a good idea to make one. The first thing is I find it very mentally good, or just kind of like good to have it written and in place to help me through the process as much as that can. Obviously, every labor and delivery is different and things happen, and I do believe that you need to be open to different things happening than what's on your birth plan. But having it written out and planned to the best of our ability, I find just is really helpful for me and going through the whole process. I like to give this written birth plan to the medical professionals that will be helping me along in my labor and delivery. So I usually give this to one of the midwives at my 34-week appointment and just go over it with them, and then they put it in my chart and in my file so that the other midwives and doctors can review it as well. And then I also print out a copy and bring it and give it to my nurse at the hospital. I just find that it's really nice to have it all written out. You don't have to discuss anything verbally, especially when you're in the hospital and going through all of that. They already know your wishes and can just look it up. I have been told that most of the stuff on my birth plan is now like standard procedure, but I just keep it on there anyways. I'll link my sample birth plan down below if you want to use that as a starting point to make your own. So I'm going to read through my birth plan for my baby number 3, which was pre-COVID. And then I'm going to, as I go through it, I'm going to talk about what I have changed because of COVID and what I have changed because of my labor and delivery with baby number 3. Definitely check with your doctor or hospital to see what the current COVID procedures are. They've changed even from the beginning of my pregnancy to now. So the last time I talked to them about it a few weeks ago, I can now have 2 people in the delivery room, but they can't switch out or anything. It has to be the 2 same people, and still no other visitors even afterwards, and no siblings, which, if everything goes well and baby and I are healthy, my husband and I really like to go home from the hospital pretty close to 24 hours after the baby is born, which for my 3rd was we ended up leaving 28 hours after we got to the hospital, because I had her within an hour and a half of being there, and then the tests and things that they have to do after the 24 hours takes a little bit of time, but we like to get out of there. So as far as introducing my other children to the baby, it'll be fine to do that here at our house when we come home. Oh, also, I had heard, at the beginning of my pregnancy, some hospitals were testing for COVID, the mom and sometimes the dad, and making them wear masks. As far as I know, the last time I talked to my doctor, the hospital I'm delivering at is not requiring testing or wearing masks. So I got my handy dandy birth plan, and I just, have at the top Melissa's birth plan, and I then list like my full name, my husband's full name, my due date for that child, and then my doctor with the phone number, and that's just kind of for me or my husband if he needs to look at this real quick, because I keep it with our hospital bag. Then he can call if he needs to. I have it saved in my phone. And then the hospital that I'll be delivering at in the phone number for the maternity ward as well. So I kind of have it separated out into some sections. So labor, which is really kind of like more for me, some of it is, and then delivery, post-delivery, and then I have a section on if baby does need additional care beyond just the normal stuff. So for labor, for baby number 3, I've got it head to the hospital when contractions are regular 5 minutes apart and painful, or if water has broken. And of course, if this is like your first child or you're unsure, call your doctor. After hours, they'll have doctors on call, of course, and they will be able to tell you if it's a good idea to come into the hospital or just wait it out. I hopefully will be able to tell with the intensity of my contractions if it's time to go, because sometimes they are farther than 5 minutes apart, but the intensity is just really a lot, and that means it's dilating you and you're in active labor. So it is, I'm sorry to say, this is my 4th baby, and I still do not 100% know, like early signs of labor. I think you'll know once it gets a little bit closer, but early signs for me have always been really hard to tell, and I'm very indecisive. I'm like, maybe it's not, maybe. Anyways, I'd like to have my husband present throughout entire labor, may be visited by parents only. So I did allow my parents and my husband's parents to come in if they wanted to during my labor, no one else. I have now taken that off. It's only going to be my husband, and my husband has always only been the only one in the delivery room when each of our babies have been born. And then I do personally like just less visitors in the hospital. You're recovering, like you've got a lot of stuff going on. It's a lot. I don't know. So I kind of like it maybe that visitors aren't allowed in the hospital. Anyways, so for baby number 3, I said for pain relief, I'd like to wait until I ask for an epidural, use natural ways to relieve pain from contractions. I was really just wanting to try to go as long as possible to progress as much as possible through the pain, and then get an epidural to help with that last little bit and the delivery. That did not happen for baby number 3. I did a birth story. I'll link it down below of my baby number 3 birth story. It was a crazy one, and it was a lot faster than, of course, my first 2, and so it does make me believe that this one will also be quite quick. So I'm preparing myself for a natural labor and delivery again, just so I don't have that mental switch that has to happen literally before I have to push the baby out. That for me was the scariest part of my labor and delivery with my 3rd child. I had it in my mind that pain relief was coming, and it was coming with the epidural. I had it ordered. I had all of my tests done. I had the bag of fluids. And he just didn't make it there in time. I was already 9 centimeters before he could get there for me. So if it's only an hour and a half in the hospital of contractions before I deliver, I am preparing myself for that. Of course, I am very open to if it ends up being longer, like quite a bit longer, because every labor and delivery is different, then I will be asking for an epidural. I've had an epidural with 2 of mine, and it can be very helpful. So that's what I mean. Make a plan, but be open for other things. I am mentally preparing for a natural labor and delivery, so that is what I am planning. But let's see. So for this one, instead of that, I said I would be expecting to deliver with no pain relief. Last baby was no epidural because of how quick it was. If labor lasts longer, I will ask for an epidural. But then I do put, please don't offer me pain medication. I will request when I want it. For me, I just don't want people coming in and bothering me saying, hey, like, are you sure you don't want this? Are you sure you don't? I just don't want that during my labor. So put it on there. I'd like to avoid medication for labor augmentation and only be used when completely necessary. If needed, we can talk about breaking my water. So for my first, I wasn't progressing a whole lot. I was dilated a couple of centimeters, and I really liked to be able to talk to my midwife. She was great. And I said, hey, can we try to break my water to get things going more than trying Pitocin or something like that to get the contractions going. You do have to be dilated. You have to have certain things to be able to go with that, but definitely talk to your doctor and midwife. I'd like fetal monitoring to be external and intermittent, allowing me to walk around during labor when possible before receiving the epidural. During labor, I'd like my partner to be able to take pictures and videos. I mean, I think some of these are pretty normal, but I just like to put it out there, you know. Okay, so for delivery, I've just got it listed, it's a vaginal delivery is what's planned. I'd like to just have my husband and medical staff present during delivery. As baby is delivered, I would like to push as directed. I was not directed at all during my delivery of number 3. The nurses delivered, and I pushed like twice or 3 times. It's a bit of a blur, but she just came out. So I was not directed. I don't know. I'm open to like being directed or not. At that point, when you're having a natural delivery, your body just kind of does it. I don't even know if somebody was like, okay, it's time to push. If you would be like, okay, like it's not time. I'm going to tell you when. But another thing. So I wanted to avoid vacuum extraction. I did have to use a vacuum with my first. But I am glad that I did it because I do think that it helped me avoid a C-section, so when it's necessary. But there are risks that come with that, so, I'd like to avoid it. My children are large babies. My first was 9 pounds, 12 ounces, and then 9.3, and then 8.14, so we'll see what this one is. Don't want an episiotomy. Make sure all other options have been exhausted before a C-section. If a C-section is absolutely necessary, want my husband to be with me the entire time. I don't know what the actual procedures are, but I saw that in a birth plan. So post-delivery, these are important things, and I think it's really nice to have them written out. I think the delayed cord clamping is normal now, but especially breast milk, I have heard that some people want to exclusively breastfeed, and then, I don't know, somehow their baby gets formula. Anyways, I would like to hold my baby immediately after delivery. I think that's normal, but I like to put it on there. I would like to wait to cut the umbilical cord till it stops pulsing, and my husband to cut it. I would like to breastfeed as soon as possible after delivery. Within that first hour, the golden hour is just really what's recommended. I'd like to feed baby only with breast milk. I would like my family members to join me and baby in the room later. So this has changed. I pretty much just took it straight off the list. And I took also the push as directed because I just took that off. So because of COVID and all the procedures, I just took that off. Baby 24-hour room in, which I think is normal unless issues arise, have first bath, medical exams, etc. performed in the room. I think the only thing they usually take him out for is circumcision, which we are having a girl, so we don't have to worry about. I would like my husband to stay with the baby at all times if I can't be there. This was one of the things I didn't really know about, but yeah, they took the baby, which we got her right baby back. They have the bands and stuff, but they took my first for his circumcision, and I don't know if they didn't allow my husband or we were really young and didn't know to speak up and have him like walk with them and the baby to the room and then back. But looking back, I would have probably preferred that. And then if baby is not well, I'd like my partner and I to accompany to the NICU or another facility. The hospital I'm delivering at does not have a NICU, so I'm really, hoping and praying always that everything is all right. But especially because of that, they would have to transport the baby to another facility, and I don't know if hopefully they would transport me with it. I put it on here, I don't know. But at least my husband would go with the baby first, and then I would come when I could. To breastfeed or provide pumped breast milk only, and to hold the baby whenever possible, which I'm sure is normal. So yeah, that's pretty much my birth plan. I'll put it down below if you want to use things that are on that. Now, getting into the good stuff. My list of postpartum essentials after having 3 children, and this is the stuff that I'm going to be having for my 4th. So here we go. Mesh panty. Okay, so there are certain things that they'll give you in the hospital that you can ask for more to be able to take home with you in your bag. Ask for them if you want them. So they have those big mesh panties and these ice packs that you can crack open, which those ice packs, they're called perennial cold packs, and you can buy them on Amazon, and I'm debating on whether to get some to have here because those things are amazing. I have torn with all 3 of my children, big babies, and they're a necessity for me. So I might get some more of those. Mesh panties I really only wear for the first couple of days just because if you get blood on them, then you can just throw them out. So that's what I like to use for the first few days, and then I'll switch to, well, actually, no, because my last one I did this. So I'll use mesh panties for a bit, and then these bad boys. Adult diapers, and I'm telling you, lifesaver. I used them for my 3rd, and I'm like, why did no one tell me about this for my first 2 children? These are amazing. I forgot this was one. So these are actually probably better than the mesh panties. I don't know. It's good to have an option. But these, and I didn't really use a whole lot. Oh, I forgot I had these in here too. I didn't really use a whole lot, so I have some left over that I'm going to be using for this one. Yes, I just saved them. And then also these puppy pads. So they have these in the hospital too. They just have you sit on them, and then they put them in the bed, obviously. But for me, for the first few days where it's very, very heavy, I do not want the added task of cleaning anything up if I leak. So I will sleep on one of these. I will put one on any chair that I'm sitting on and be able to just toss them out if they get messy. So and these are just like puppy pads, which I think, was I given some or did I have to buy some? I can't remember. But then also, after, you know, the adult diapers and everything is not necessary anymore and you want to go back to your normal underwear, then also have some, you know, regular maxi pads on hand. Sometimes, if it's still a good amount, then you can double stack them. So you can put one in the front, one in the back, and kind of double stack it so covers more of an area. So, and you can, I like to get a couple different sizes, so like super maxi, you know, like the nighttime ones, and then some smaller ones as it decreases. You just don't want to have to like go out and buy those, you know, in the first few weeks after. So go ahead and stock up on those. So next is numbing spray, which at my hospital, they usually give me like a prescription one, and that, lasts me to be able to spray down there after you go to the bathroom. But you can buy it also in the store. It's called Dermaplast spray. Very, very helpful, especially if you tear. Sure, it's helpful even if you don't. And then they also give you this spray bottle. Maybe we'll put a picture here, but at the hospital, I did not keep any of mine because they always give you one, but it's to be able to, you know, squirt water down there to be able to clean off anything because it gets quite messy after you go to the bathroom. It is really nice to be able to fill it up with warm water, but I have a bidet now also, which, thing to note, only squirts out cold water. So I'll probably still use the bottle for the first little bit where it's very, very painful, but then it's going to be really, really nice just to have it on my toilet already, the water, to be able to clean off once the painful part is over with, and I don't necessarily need warm water. So those are things for cleaning wise. And I also have always, but coconut oil, and I just keep it in like a little, I think I probably got this at the Dollar Tree, little thing like this, and I keep it around with me. And this is what I use for more of like a natural nipple cream, and especially if you're breastfeeding, this is so great. You know, I don't have to worry about my babies, you know, nursing with it because it is coconut oil. And I think also, if you're not planning on breastfeeding, you know, things change. Your milk still comes in. Your milk still has to dry up. So it might be helpful to have that just in case, if they get sore. So, same thing, disposable breast pads. I don't have any right now. There's a few things I still need to get before baby is born, but disposable breast pads. And this is for breastfeeding, or if you're not planning on breastfeeding, because even if you're not breastfeeding, your milk still comes in, still has to dry up, so you still leak quite a lot. It's different for the length of time for everybody, but I usually just get one box. For me personally, I'll get one box and use that box while my milk is coming in and regulating with the baby feeding. Once it regulates, it's not typical that I leak out in between feedings. I don't know. Actually, for the first probably 6 months, I do leak. I don't know. You leak when the baby cries. Anyways, so after that first box of disposable ones, because you leak a lot, then I have my, where are they? My reusable breast pads, and I use this throughout the whole rest of the time of my breastfeeding journey, which usually ends up being about 20 months. So I have two different kinds. These ones are like, they're kind of like waterproof on the outside and then soft on the inside, and they wash up really well. All right, a soft bra, especially if you're going to be nursing, even a soft bra if you're not, but this one's really, really nice. And then this is also like a nursing bra. You just pull it down. I'm pretty sure I just got a 2-pack from Amazon, but these are really, really nice. Just kind of have a little bit of support not a ton, but just very nice because everything is just changing and all with that as well after you have a baby and with learning how to breastfeed. And I'll have other videos on my channel about tips on breastfeeding and all of that kind of stuff. So I normally take, this coconut, my little thing of coconut oil to the hospital, which you may not need. I take that back. Sometimes you do. And then I don't bring any. I probably bring like 1 or 2 sets of disposable nursing pads to the hospital, but it's very rare that your milk comes in that soon. Also a necessity, a nice cozy robe, because it's also just very nice for breastfeeding to just pull down, but even not, it's just nice to be able to put it on. You don't have to actually get dressed. And some nice, comfy, not tight pajama pants, because you just don't want anything tight. And I would assume with C-sections, I've never had one, but I would assume with C-sections especially, you don't want anything tight around that area as well, like the scar area. So that's necessities. And then this belly band thing. Okay, there's like several different things within this. I think there's different stages. So there's a stomach belt, a waist belt, a pelvis belt, and then you can do all 3 together. Just like suction everything in and just do really well. This thing, and will be going in my hospital bag too because I like to wear it as soon as possible. This was one, again, that I got for my 3rd baby. Wish I had had with all of my children. It is amazing. My back hurts so much. Sometimes I have back labor, sometimes I don't. So much afterwards, even just because I think just like everything that's going on. It's very painful. This helps so much with back support afterwards, and then also just kind of like pulling things in because your skin is just so loose from it being stretched out, and everything just needs to kind of help be condensed in. Your uterus will be contracting and stuff, but it helps. Believe me, it helps. And oh gosh, so amazing. Then next is some pain relievers, which you may also just already have on hand. Tylenol, I usually keep on hand because while I'm breastfeeding, I don't normally take ibuprofen either. So Tylenol, stool softeners. So they should give you these in the hospital, but have some at your house too to take for the first little bit, because you'll want it. You'll definitely want it. After pushing out a baby, or I think even a C-section, you do not want to be straining or doing anything when you have to go to the bathroom. So, need that. And my mom made sure I had these. This was her number 1 tip from my first child. And then your prenatals. So make sure you have prenatals on hand for even after having your baby. It's a good idea to just keep on taking them. You can ask your doctor how long you should take them afterwards. I personally take them the whole time that I am breastfeeding as well. But ask your doctor. Oh, I forgot to get my huge water bottle, but a huge water bottle. And I think especially if you're going to be breastfeeding, your body needs a ton of water to be able to, 1, hydrate yourself, but also produce enough breast milk. Water, water, water. I would imagine water also is just really good for recovery, even if you're not breastfeeding. So make sure you stay hydrated. And then along with that, some healthy snacks. Especially if you're breastfeeding, you need more calories. But a newborn baby takes up a lot of time and energy, and you want to make sure you are being able to keep up your energy, and it's not always easy. You forget to eat, you forget to drink water. That's why it's good to just bring those around with you. Have like a basket of snacks in a couple of different places in your house. Or just easy snacks that you can grab or ask somebody to grab for you, just so that you're making sure you are feeding and fueling your own body so that you can take care of this newborn baby and recover and learn all of the things of being a new mom. Even if you're not a first-time mom, it's a lot. It's a lot every single time you have a baby. So this last thing I was going to talk about is not an essential on my list, but I have seen it on several other lists, and people talk about how it's so wonderful. But it's like a donut pillow. My mom actually has one, but I have torn with all 3 of my deliveries, and I have not found that it is necessary. Basically, you sit on the outside, and then there's nothing on the inside, so that there's no pressure in that area, but to me, it's not worth it. But if you want to look into it and see if you want to get it, then you can, because a lot of people really, really like it. I hope today's video helped you out. I am sending my thoughts and prayers your way as you prepare to bring this new little bundle of joy into the world. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a blessed day.